So I'm going to make an equation for you, and I'm going to have you solve it. So let's have you solve this one, negative 4x plus 2, and have our inequality go this way and make this 22.
Okay.
Let's insert that. So if I gave you this two-step inequality right here, solve this for us. Show us how you would get that x all by itself. Good. Take away the 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Good job. And then that next step, you're gonna.
You wanna divide by negative 4 still, right? Yeah, and then negative 4. And then that would give you x.
Yep. What happens? Your inequality there, good. It switches.
Negative 5.
Good job. And if you had to draw a quick little number line sketch, is that going to be open circle or closed circle on that negative 5?
Closed circle.
Good job. And then more than would be
right.
Good job, lady. Right. All right. If I gave you a harder one, if I gave you one that you had to distribute a number first before you solve it. Solve this one. This one trickier because it's having you take that 2 negative and distribute it through. You got to know how to distribute before you solve one of those. Let's get for that one. Good.
-8.
Good job. Good job. So you remember to times both inside there. Good job. Yep. Now you're adding 8. Good. And then if you're dividing positive by negative, is that going to be negative or positive? Good job, girl. Quick little number line sketch, that would, because you're switching from more than to less than. Looks like the arrow's going.
This way.
Yep, going to be going to the left. All right, good job. All right, next, if I gave you like a word problem here, so I say you have at most $120 to spend. Can't spend any more than that. Otherwise, you'll be in trouble. Let's say shirts cost $4 each. Would you be able to write an inequality that represents this and be able to solve it and know how many shirts you could buy before you spend too much money? So at most, good job, yep, good. And then if you solve that for x, you would, good, divide, good job.
And then, what's 120 divided by 4?
What's 4 into 12? Or what times 4 gives you 12, you think?
3.
3, yep. And then with that 0, I think this is going to end up being
30.
30, yes ma'am, 30.
Okay, so maybe 30?
Yep. So what does that mean? How many shirts can I buy before I spend too much money?
30.
30. What if I buy 35 shirts? Am I in trouble?
No. Oh, wait, yes.
Yep, too much. What if I buy 20 shirts?
No.
Nope, you have enough money left, right? All right, good job. If you were doing a problem in a math or in your math class that was super confusing to you, do you have any kind of recollection of what it was? I mean, can you tell me what it was so I can make up one for you, or do you want me to just make up another one for you?
Just a minute.
All right. How about, have you been solving two-step or variables on both sides equations?
No.
Have you been doing these yet?
No.
You've been doing the one-step equations, right?
Yes.
So your first step is to take away this 2.
Oh wait,
then
I don't
divide
want
by
to do
4.
that, but just not like variables on both sides.
So if I gave you this, you'd be able to solve that. No problem,
Yeah.
right? Take away 2 and then divide
And
by
then,
4.
yes.
All right. So what if, because you're going to be doing these, what if I have an x term over here instead?
I don't know.
So for this problem, you would still start by getting rid of that 2. Remember how if it was a normal 2-step equation, you would take away that 2? So on these, you start by subtracting the 2. You don't want to subtract 2 from 2x because those are unlike terms. You want to subtract 2 from this 10 right here. And then what happens when you do that? These cancel. This 4x comes down. This equal comes down. This 2x comes down. What's this give me right here?
8.
Yep. And then on these.
Would you combine it?
Nope, because you can't plus these. You can never can you combine through an equal sign. That's like the worst thing. You can never do that. Only if it's on one side. So now when you're doing one of these, the crucial second step is right here. Now at this step, I want to try to get all my x's over here and leave my 8 on this side. So what's it going to take to get rid of this plus 2x? What's the opposite of plus 2x?
Minus.
Yep. So at this step, you're not subtracting a number, you're subtracting 2x from both sides of your equation. Subtracting 2x over here. And what that crucial second step does is it gets all your x's over here now and leaves that 8 over here. And now what would your last step be?
To divide.
Yep, dividing. These first 2 steps are plus and or minus in a way. Only this third step is division, something a little bit different. That answer would be 4.
Oh, so this is not inequalities because they're equals.
So these are variables, both sides equations. But they will take these and make these inequality problems too. But you solve them the same way. And the only difference about something like that would be like if I was solving an inequality, then if I divide by a negative, I'd have to remember to flip it.
Yeah.
But I'm going to show you this because if I took this 4 answer, put it here, 4 times 4 is 16. 16 plus 2, 18. Take that 4 right here. 4 times 2, 8, plus 18. You get 18 equals 18. All right, I'm going to shrink this down. And I want to see you solve one of these because I know you got the skills. Because these are coming at you. I know. I can see it in your book already. So let's give you a 6x minus 2 equals 3x plus 10. All right, there you go. Solve this variables on both sides where I try to get you to always start on the left. Then second step on the right, get rid of the variable. Back to the left side. Good work. So start on the left, get rid of that minus 2. So your opposite would be plus 2. Good job.
And then would it be with this one?
Yep. You can never plus 2 with 3x, just the 10 right there. Good job. Ooh, how'd you get 8 from this?
Because, oh wait, not 8, not.
So it wouldn't be 8, that would really be
12.
Yep. So you got plus 12 right there. Good. Now stay on this side, but get rid of that 3x.
Would it be minus 3x?
Yep. And then do that to the other side. Good job. Because that keeps your equation still balanced because you're doing the same thing to both sides. These will cancel away forever. And you're left with 3x equals
12.
Good. And then what's your last step right there?
Oh, dividing.
Yep.
By 3.
Good.
3. And that gives you x equals 4.
Good job, lady. All right, next. Have you been graphing?
No, not the slope stuff yet. Because that's what my friend's doing. She's in accelerated. And she's doing stuff with, like, finding the slope of...
All right, you will have to know how to do this too. So I'm just going to show you one here. If we give you an equation to graph, like that one. All right. So the basic thing that you're going to have to need to know, I'm guaranteeing you, do you know which is the x-axis, which is the y-axis?
I forgot.
The x-axis or the y-axis goes up way up high into the sky. The x-axis goes this way. This is your x-axis right here. If I plotted a point right here, if I just said that's point A, would you know how to write that as a coordinate? Like point A, x coordinate, y, x number, y number. Would you know how to write it?
4,
Yeah.
7?
Ooh, so 4, 7 means you're going right 4, up 7. Is that where that point is? Ooh, so it wouldn't be.
4?
Ooh, 7, 4 would be right 7, up 4 right here. What is that really? 6?
3.
Yep, good.
Oh.
Yep, because you're going the right number, you're writing first, you're writing the 6 first, and then your up or down number, that's your second number, right? Good. All right, so when you're graphing and you have a form like this, do you see this number that's all by itself? That tells you where to put your first dot on this y line. So all you gotta do is find 7. That's where your first dot goes. And then to get other dots, your teacher's going to teach you that you then look at this number in front of x, because that's like your slope. Have you ever heard of slope before? Rising,
No.
right?
Well, my friend told me, well, we have to, in our class right now, we're doing slopes.
This is your slope number. They're taking that number and they're making it into a fraction, because the top number tells you how far to go up or down. The bottom number tells you from that dot how far to go left or right. So starting at 7 and then using that change number 3 as a ratio means every time I'm going right 1, I'm going up 3, right 1, up 3. I could also stair step the opposite way too on my line right there. That probably wasn't a good example. Let's try another one. Let's keep this smaller one. If I was to give you y equals 2x minus 5, here's a good one.
You would put the 5 right there.
Yep, go for it. How about first label the x-axis, label the y-axis. Good. Now, -5, negative. You don't want to go negative. Perfect, right there. That's from your first point. Now this 2, do you know how to make 2 into a fraction? Any whole number's always
2 over 1.
Yep, any whole number's over 1. So that tells you, with your pen on that spot, this ratio tells you where to go to get your other dots. That 1 tells you you're going over 1 box on this grid, but that's not where you put your point, because after going over 1, then you go up 2. That's where your next point goes, right there. And then you would keep going from there. You would go right 1 and then up 2 again. Yep, and then you're going to need to practice. Do you kind of see this kind of grid-to-grid pattern? You need to continue that exactly. That's how you're graphing. You're always going from, oh no, see how you jacked that one up a little bit? But then here you only went to 1. You got to really be careful. That ratio, you can't mess it up a tiny little bit. Over 1, up 2. Over 1, up 2. You got to keep going that exact, otherwise your line's not straight. So put those other dots, where would they go? Get that one. that one. Perfect, yep. Where would the next dot go? Perfect. One more. Perfect, you will need to do that. Would you be able to put your pen on -5 and do a dot going the back side of this line over here? Where would that dot go?
Like this.
Yep. Perfect, yep. And do another one that direction. Yep. Because if you extend it backwards, those are still on that same line. If you took a ruler and you drew a line through those points, you're doing exactly what your friend's doing in that Excel map. You're plotting, this is your -5 right here. This number that we went over 1 up to, that is the slope that your friend's doing. That's what she's talking about, slope. That describes how your line is going up.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Not too bad. You got it. All right, and then last, because I got to challenge you. What if I gave you this, which has you combine like terms before you solve inequality? I don't like that. Let's make this 3x plus 6 plus 2x. Let's make this less than or equal to, and on this side, let's make this all right, there you go. So this one's going to have you combine like terms and then solve it. This is a regular inequality. Try this guy.
Would you go like?
So for this, do you see how on this side over here, do you see how you have x's together? So before you do anything,
You combine
you combine those together before you do anything.
5
Good, that gives you 5 of those x's.
plus
Yep.
6 is less than or equal to 3x plus 12.
Good. And you got that, you still got that x next to that 5, right? Sweet. Now it's 5x plus 6 less than or equal to 3x plus 12. We want to take away that 6. Good job, lady. And then bring down the 5x, bring down that inequality, bring down the 3x.
Plus 6.
Good. Now stay on this side.
And then minus.
Yep. Minus 3x.
3x.
Good. Yep. And make sure you put the x under there too so you know what you're subtracting. Good. 5. Good. Gives you 2 of those x's. 6. You got one last step. You did 2 steps of adding, subtracting. Your last step is division. Good.
X equal to 3.
Good job. Would that be a open circle or a closed circle?
It would be a closed circle.
Good. Less than, is that to the right of 3 or to the left?
To the left of 3.
Good job. Yep, numbers less to the left of 3. Good job. What's the only thing that makes you switch an inequality around?
You have to be multiplying and dividing, but if you're dividing or multiplying by a negative number.
100%. When I say the word at least 10, how would the inequality look for at least 10?
Would it be like x is?
Ooh, it looks like it would be like that, but remember, at least, yep, how it's kind of backwards, yep. So at least 10, the inequality looks like the kind of more than direction. So at least 10, 10 or more you're looking at. How would you write the inequality for at most 10? How would that inequality be for at most? Yep. And it's kind of misleading, right? Because at most is the less than direction, and at least is the more than direction. But then remember, girl, if we say a number less 10, if we just say less 10, then that would just be minus 10. Or if I said a number less than 10 would be like this. But at least has you do it backwards. Right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, good job. You get A+. I'm going to stop this. And then I could make this